So welcome to the Behind the Bar podcast. Today we're joined by Justine. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Justine Lorriman and I'm the owner of the Royal Dyche in Burnley.
And for those who don't know, you are Licensee of the Year Award winner for 2024. How was it winning licensee?
Absolutely mind-blowing. I really didn't expect to win. I really didn't expect to be a semi-finalist or a final when I realised that it was like the ultimate accolade in the hospitality industry. It was absolutely incredible. Still gives me goosebumps, like remembering getting my name read out, and just like I was completely shocked. And just from that moment, it's just been ultimate chaos, but in a positive way, in a good way. I've had like so much media attention from it as well, which has been incredible. And I just feel like I've been taken under the wing of the BII as well. Like I'm getting this like second family. It's just going to be a really exciting year for me with the pub.
Yeah, and now your face is everywhere.
Literally.
So I hope you like being photographed all the time, because now you're...
Funnily enough, since I did the name change of the pub, I kind of got used to it from then. Again, something that I didn't think would take off and would be as huge as it was. And you change the name of a pub and it ends up being like a global phenomenon. It's crazy.
And how long have you been at the pub?
Been here 11 years now.
And what exactly made you choose hospitality? Have you always been in hospitality?
So originally, when I took this pub on, it was just, again, save money. What majority of teenagers get into, and the pub game is just a bit of extra money. So I originally started out working at one of my dad's friends' pubs. It was just while I was at college, and a bit of extra money to save up for a car. And then I worked in other various locations in and around Burnley town centre. And then I got a different job and came out of the hospitality industry. But I always got a taste for it, and my dad was heavily involved with helping his friends with the pub, and my dad kind of got a taste for it as well. And we were together as a team, we were kind of like really good at it. Like when he was helping his friends, I was working behind the bar, we'd be like bouncing off each other, which was really good. And I was actually in my going into my third year of university. We was in the break for summer, and I got a phone call from my dad. I had a part-time job at an engineering company, and I remember him calling me on my dinner, and he was like, "Oh, we've got a pub." And I was like, "What do you mean we've got a pub?" He went, "Oh, you've got your personal alcohol license, and like, kind of need that." And it's like, right, what pub? And as soon as he said the Princess Royal, I put the phone down. I was like, and it was a pub with a really, really bad reputation. And he called me back straight away. He said, "Look, just hear me out. Come and see the venue. It's got potential. I just want to know what you think." When I actually came to view the pub, you could see, like, even with a beer garden, it wasn't, it was an eyesore, but you could tell it had potential.
Yeah.
And I love a challenge as well. And I did want to go travelling. So I thought, let's just see how I get on. And going into something like that, you go into it blind and you don't understand the responsibilities, especially at that age. I was 21 when I took it on. I just thought it'd be easy money-making thing. And you kind of like get attached to it, especially when you see your name on documents and your name above the door and things like that. And I just remember at one point I was like to my dad, like, I need to get an accountant. I need to start taking this a lot more seriously. And that's when after 6 months in, but I took like a back seat. I got an accountant, set up a limited company, but again, it was supposed to be temporary. Yeah. I wanted to go travelling, and I still did. I did after 2 years of saving, so I was like and ahhing what to do. Still wanted to be a PE teacher. I was going to do my PGCE. I got a manager in. I went travelling for 6 months, and I was like, right, this is me trying to figure out what level I wanted to teach at.
Yeah.
And I went travelling, and I was like missing the pub and just like missing the people. You just form an attachment, and I don't think you realise like until you go into the pub game, you just form like this new family again. And I'm a very social person. I'm a very people person. And when I was away travelling, I really missed it. And when I came back, I was itching. It wasn't to decide about teaching. I was itching to get back to the pub, yeah. And I felt like, again, going travelling, it cleared my mind and it gave me lots of new, fresh ideas. And I was just itching to get back and get started again, pick up where I left off.
Yeah. Did you and your dad ever talk about running a pub before, or was it a surprise when he called you?
It was a complete surprise. He'd always mentioned that he'd love to go back into the pub game, and I always said, yeah, I'll help you.
Yeah, it's like a manager or something.
11 years later, and it has been a journey. It's been an absolute whirlwind, but I mean, yeah, you have good days and bad days. I think nobody in the hospitality industry could say that every day is a good day. Every day is a challenge and an adventure, and every day is different. And that's what I love about the industry. It's that I can open my doors and I don't know who's going to come in that door. And that, for me, like, some people can find that really daunting, but for me, it's a really exciting thing for the unknown. Like opening, we're open 7 days a week, we're open at 12, and not knowing who's going to come in and what your day is going to be like.
Yeah. So what would you say is your favourite part of running a pub?
Definitely the people, just the community we have. So I've been here 11 years now, so I've had regulars that have been with me from day one, and it's really nice that you kind of like have people each year. We have people that join, it's like an extended family that join, and it's like an infectious thing that you get as soon as you come into the pub. And once you get sucked in that family atmosphere, it's really hard to leave. Or we get people that move to Burnley and end up coming into the pub and taking under the wing, and it's just really nice that our family keeps growing, our pub family. And we actually do a customer awards evening. So a few years ago, I used to, when I did apply for some of the awards, I'd apply for Burnley Business Awards, things like that, and we never really got a look in, and you get that unconfident, a bit down about yourself. So I thought, you know what? No, I'm not going to be down about it. We're going to have our own awards. We're going to do our customer awards. And what we do, me and my staff will sit down, hit the categories. It'll be 12 awards that we'll do. Hit the categories. We'll sit down, hit regulars that we think are suitable for that category. And then we'll get a voting form. And voting form goes on the bar. There's a little letterbox at the end, and you'll vote. You write your name at the top. And people took it so serious. On the first one I ever did, it was just a joke. I thought, this is never going to take off. And then I took it to a 2-year thing, and now it's an annual thing because my customers refuse to wait 2 years to have another. And it's such an incredible evening. Everybody gets dressed up. We put a fake red carpet, coming into the pub. We do Prosecco on arrival. It's so funny. We hire a photographer. We have live music, and it's good for me as well because I'm not overly confident on a microphone. Public speaking it's new to me, but I'm slowly getting used to it. So I have a couple of drinks and I'm the compere for the night, and I just love roasting some of our regulars. The banter we have on the night is just incredible. And the one that we did in March, it was it's just made me really excited for the next one. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And when we actually did that awards evening, we realised how many regulars we had. So the first one we sat down and there was 80. And now it's 150 people that we know, first name, last name basis, it's incredible. And it just seems to grow even more each year.
Do you have any reigning champions?
So one of my friends that I went to school with, Billy, he won Hunk of the Pub. So he's won that a couple of years. We do Hunk of the Pub. We have a guy, my winter cleaner, Neza, he's won a couple as well. And there's a guy called Carl Morley. Always in a 3-piece suit. He will come into the pub no matter what day of the week it is. You'll get Carl coming in.
Even in the middle of summer?
Yeah, 3-piece suit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, shades on if it's summer. Yeah, he might take his jacket off, but yeah, he always tends to win. Always most polite, bit stressed. But yeah, there is a good few that always stick out that you know. One of the others, Carl Manley, he's another one. His one-liners are brilliant. And it'd be a dull day if we didn't have regulars like that coming into the pub.
So you said when you originally bought the pub, it was the Princess Royal, and obviously now it's the Royal Dyche. How did that change? What's the story behind that?
We have a chalkboard outside the pub. We do Joke of the Weeks, and Burnley had done really well. We got promoted to the Premier League, and we wrote a chalkboard that Sean Dyche got us into the Premier League. We went back down, went back up, and he kept us in the Premier League. And my manager at the time was JD, and she said, "Do you mind if I write this on the A board?" And I said, "What is it?" She said, "Sean Dyche drinks here free." And I was like, yeah, go on then. So she put it outside, and we had BT Sport and Sky, a couple of the local press jumping on it, saying, ultimate accolade from the Burnley pub, what a gesture to the gaffer. And we had this fame for doing literally chalk.
Yeah.
People would pay hundreds for that publicity.
Yeah.
And the following year, he kept us in the Premier League, which he'd not done previous years. And from then, I think the season started again, and we're sat fourth in the table. And I was like, right, how do we utilise this? We've got to write something again. Let's try and get a bit more. And I ended up writing, Sean, if you get us into Europe, we'll name this pub the Dyche. Now, Burnley not been in Europe for over 50 years.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I almost wrote Champions League, but it wasn't really realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, in the top 4, but I thought definitely top 5 or 6. Little did I know that if other teams in the Premier League, if they won the FA Cup or Carabao Cup, it would open up the 7th spot. And we were sat 7th spot with quite a few points clear, and I was ringing my landlord up at the time, and I said, look, I've said this. It might come true.
You have to do it.
Can I change the name? Am I allowed to do that? What's the legal process? He said, no, there's no legal process. You can just literally
do whatever you want.
Literally, it's like changing a shop front. And I was like, right, that's great. Do you mind if I do it? He's like, do you know what? No, go for it. If you pay for the signage, you do what you want. We had Sky around, we had BT around, and they were like, oh, you're going to change your name. And then when it actually came true, and we actually technically qualified for the qualifying stages before we got the Europa League. But yeah, it was insane, absolutely insane. I couldn't believe how many. I mean, I did the Burnley Business Awards recently, and I googled the Royal Dyche, And I was trying to translate articles from India, Ghana, the Philippines. Yeah, and I was like, how do these people care that a pub in Burnley's changed their name after like the local manager? And I got his blessing. I met him at the player awards that year, and I asked him. I said, "Look, do you mind if I do it? I've said I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
As long as I've got your blessing, I won't do it if you don't want me to. Like, I don't want to make money off your name. That's one of the things that I wanted to put out there was I didn't want to change this name because I wanted to make money from somebody else's facing name. That's not what I wanted to do. I wasn't going to do anything different. We already had the events that we have on, and the only thing we have different now is just his face appears around the pub a lot more, as you've seen.
There's quite a fair few times around the pub, yeah.
So we got his blessing, and it's such a nice day. We changed the name on. It was literally 5 years that I'd been in the pub, and I did the name change on that day. So it was like the 1st of June 2013 I took it over. The 1st of June 2018 I did the name change. So yeah, it was a really special day. And
originally this was kind of a rough pub. It had a reputation of not being great, and now obviously that's a complete 180. How did you manage to do that shift? Was it with sports? Was it with opening the doors and inviting everyone?
I feel like it's a combination. Again, it was a pub that I said I didn't want because of the reputation it had. It still had that clientele when I did take it on. I know that the first 12 months were difficult.
Yeah.
I got like a doorman that would be on like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We'd have, so we'd like, develop our own band list behind the bar. So when you got, you kind of knew who the troublemakers were, you'd start like a list, and you met all your staff aware, and you made doorman aware that if these people don't get in the premises, then it's not like, what the hardest thing is when you have a troublemaker that get in and get served.
Yeah.
The hardest thing then is getting them out.
Yeah.
So the first point was trying to find a way to not let these people come in.
Prevent it.
Yeah. And then we joined the Burnley Pub Watch, Burnley Against Nighttime Disorder. That's been really proactive. And over the years, that's really grown. We've got a lot of good licensees in Burnley that they want the same goals. They want the same things where they want to work together. I mean, we know full well the kind of town that we're from.
Yeah.
I'm on the outskirts of the town centre. That's something that I've come to terms with, that I'm not an ice country pub. That's not what I am. But what I have done is utilise every little bit of this pub that I possibly can, and I've tried to have made the best thing out of what I possibly can from this situation, this area. And I've built an amazing community of people. It's now a rarity for trouble to happen.
Yeah.
And I feel like if one of those troublemakers were to come in, they'd stick out like a sore thumb. And I know that it's them that wouldn't feel comfortable drinking here, which is really nice, that like our pub family, they're the ones that they know that they're welcome here. There's not going to be no trouble. There's always going to be inclusive events for everybody. We've got an Oktoberfest event tonight that's for everyone. So it's like German themed. So I have free like sausage, potatoes. We've got steins out. So it's just nice that all my regulars are going to be here tonight and enjoying like a special event like that.
What's your favourite event that you've done?
It probably would be Primfest, which we've now rebranded to Dyche Fest. So it's like a big music festival. It's either that or going to be the customer awards. But I think it would be after this summer. We had such incredible. We did a 3-day event this summer, so it's grown from like a 1-day to a 2-day to a 3-day, and it just went so smooth. I feel like once you start doing an event, so like any advice I was to give somebody if they were starting a new event is the first time you do it, it's not going to be the huge success that you think. You need your images to market it. You need your customers to understand what the event's about. And then from then is you build it. So now the fact that we're running a 3-day music festival with over 60 bands, acts and DJs, all 60 are local as well. Like Burnley's packed full of music talent. So it's nice that we can tap into that industry as well. And it's great that I feel that is another reason why the pub's grown so much, is because we're lucky that we've got such a good music scene in Burnley. We have our own jam night, open deck night as well, weekly. So like, they're moving on to the quieter days of the week where musicians can come down. We've got a safe space for them. It's free as well. So we've got all the instruments provided. We've got our own decks as well. So DJs come down with a USB, headphones, plug in, and maybe they can practice the set that they're doing that weekend, or they're working on a new mix. And yeah, I just like really proud that we can have that platform for them to use.
Pubs are now moving towards doing more events now. Like, you can't just expect people to walk through the door with nothing on.
Yeah.
There is a trend of either like music-led events or game nights, or even just like your classic pub quiz.
Yeah.
You have to have something on to keep people coming through the door.
I feel like it is a generic thing now that people do expect more from just a pint of beer or just a drink. People expect live entertainment, live sports. But I feel if you do put the effort into your events, people will come. you can work on a budget, you can figure out your budget and then work from there. And if it doesn't work, then you can maybe tweak things and try again. And yeah, it's just a case of knowing your community. Like, I've lived in Burnley all my life as well, so I feel like I've got the upper hand that I know the people of Burnley. I'm a huge Burnley fan. We're 5 minutes away from the football stadium, so because I know that clientele, I feel like I'm confident in building events and things that will be suitable for my community and my people. So that's the one thing why I do think the pub's been a success, is that I've not necessarily done my research. I feel like if you're taking on a pub and you're not from that area, that you do need to research that area. So if I was to take on a country pub, I know that whatever I'm doing here, I wouldn't duplicate it and put it into that, because it wouldn't work. I'd have to do something totally different. I'd have to figure out why people are going to travel here. And it's just all about trying to find things that are going to suit your venue. Every venue is different. Again, like, every venue layout's different as well. So it's all about utilising every little bit of inch of pub that you can. And that's what I feel like I've done.
Yeah, and you say you've utilised every area. I mean, right now we're in the attic where you let bands practice and rent out the space. What's your most proudest part that you've changed from the pub, aside from the name, I guess?
That's a tough one. I'd probably say one of the latest projects that I did. So it's the land at the side of the pub that I've acquired. And it was building it like a miniature football pitch on the side. So I love to get my hands dirty. I don't mind getting involved in the building side of things. And I feel really proud as well that I can draw. I'll draw a lot of the plans up as well. And I'll sit down with my builder Tim, and we'll go through things, and I'll work on it with him together. So I feel like when you do a big project, you feel more proud if you've been a part of that.
Yeah.
So the side of the pitch where the football pitch area is, and like I bought a shipping container, turns it into a bar, and that just blows my mind that I own a shipping container. It's just really random, and I can look at that. I can take you up there, look at that, and I'm really proud because I can tell you every little bit of the development and how the plan started and what I want to do next. And so because I was so heavily involved, I'd say that's like my proudest thing. And we renamed the bar TJ's Bar, which is Tim and Justine, so it was like our little project. But yeah, that's probably the most special one for me.
And since you're so hands-on with the bar, how do you have a work-life balance? Like, you must be here spending a lot of hours putting your heart and soul into this. Do you have a good balance between work and life?
I'd say it's up and down. It is tough. It is always, I feel like it's, no matter what industry you work in, I feel like it's always hard to have that work-life balance. I've got a great team of staff. I know that if I left here today, so like at 6 o'clock, I know that tonight that my manager Kaylee would have everything under control. I know that the boys that work behind the bar, I know that they know the duties. I've got full confidence in, if I was to go away for a week, so my sister's getting married in Cyprus, so I'm going away for a weekend, that's in a couple of weeks. I know that when I'm away that everything will be fine, and I know that if they're stuck, we've got people around us as well, so that are willing to help. So again, my builder team, he'll leave numbers and stuff, and they've got all the right contact details that if anything were to like go south, that I've got the full confidence that they'll do the right thing. And I think that really helps as well, because it helps me switch off at night time. So if me and my wife sat down and we're trying to like enjoy like a film, or like we're having tea together, it's just nice that I won't be constantly checking my phone, I won't be looking at cameras. It's just nice that you need that confidence in your team. And I feel like if you don't do that and you've got too much attachment, then obviously it's going to affect your relationship.
And so your wife doesn't work at the pub with you.
No.
So how do you balance that? Does she understand a lot about the pub, or do you decide not to talk much business with her about the pub?
Yeah, so Steph is a commercial manager for an agricultural company, so that's obviously
widely done. Yeah.
And yeah. I had the pub 11 years ago, and we've been together almost 6 years now. So it was just as I'd done the name change, I met Steph a good few months after that, and I say like probably our relationship's grown and we got married, and the pub's grown with my success. So she's kind of like seen the success and how hard I've worked. So she's very, very understanding as well. So when I came to the Licensee of the Year award, Steph came down as my +1, and it was really nice that everybody was so welcoming, and she was really blown away of how much support that I was getting from the BII and how interested they were to know who she was. And that's really nice as well, because we've been to awards before and like she doesn't really get spoken to, and it's all like fixated on me, but everybody made so much of an effort, and that for me meant so much as well, that the fact that she felt a part of it and she felt a part of that win as well, because I don't think, like, without having, like, with Steph in my life, I don't think I'd have been as successful as I am. Like, she is really supportive and she does a lot for me behind the scenes. And sometimes if I am ever stuck on the bar and if I ask her, she knows I'm desperate, she will, but even though I know that she won't enjoy it as much as we do, and I know that she works hard, like, Monday to Friday, she will still help me as much as she can. She used to help me with my marketing, she helped me build my website.
Nice.
But it is nice that we can work on these little things together, and it has given us a taste of working together. I don't think we'll ever, like, fully transition as like a working couple in the industry, but we've spoke about potentially doing a podcast together and, like, bouncing off each other as, like, in the hospitality industry and her opinions as well, because it's always good to have an opinion because she's not in the industry.
Yeah.
It's always good to see what her thoughts and ideas are.
Do you think you've changed her perspective of what the pub industry is like since she's met you?
I think so. Definitely after the winning the award and meeting so many amazing people, I think that was definitely a good changing point for us going forward. Like, we're doing the winners' dinners next week, and she's my +1, and she's actually really excited for that. And funnily enough, she's already, like, put the summer event next year in our calendar now. Normally she doesn't look forward to these events, so to see that as well, that's really warming for me that she feels a part of it. And it is hard sometimes because we do, in our, like, careers, it is very separate lives, but it's nice that she can still feel a part of that now.
So you say you've got that trust in your team that you can just leave and know that they'll be fine without you. How do you approach managing a team? How do you approach building such a trustworthy, supportive team that you know they'll be fine without you?
So my team's changed a lot over the past probably 2 or 3 years. I used to have a lot of part-time staff that used to work for me, so it was like potentially a stepping stone or just like extra money for them alongside a job that they already had. And that's changed in the past couple of years where I've actually had 4 full-time staff working for me, which was really nice because it was good that I could actually provide careers for these people. And it helps because if you have somebody who's got a full-time job and then they come and work for you, the attention's not necessarily on the job with you. Whereas when I brought in, like, full-time staff members, they were all in with the pub, and it was really nice because you sort of, like, it was like a change of behaviour and attitude behind the bar. So I've got a manager, and then I've got 3 bar staff under the manager, and then I've also got a part-time cleaner as well, and another part-time staff member. So our team's like, I feel like my team's gone smaller, but it's in a sense of because they've took full-time hours. But it works really well because we're a small team. I feel like it's a lot easier to manage. They're all of similar personalities as well, so they're into the same things, which is good. It's really helpful that they'll socialise outside of work as well, which I think's makes a big, huge influence on the bar. So if they're bouncing off each other and, like, spirits are high and the atmosphere is really, like, a positive one behind the bar, I feel like really works. But I think it's not necessarily, we don't look at each other as hierarchy either when we're behind the bar. So, like, there'll nothing stop me on a match day where it's like me, Kaylee, and, like, John, Jordan, Matt, and we're all there just, like, doing the same job, and we're all, like, equal, if that makes sense. And I feel like that's really important. Like, I'd never ask my staff to do anything that I wouldn't go and do myself, anything that I've not done in these past 11 years. And it's just really nice as well as, so, like, there was, like, an incident in the toilet and the boys would be like, it's just really nice that they won't argue over who's going to do it. That someone will go, no, it's okay, go on, I'll take this one for the team. And it's just nice that we've got that environment as well where we'll work for each other. And I feel like that reflects on the bar as well. So on match days, we had a local derby recently, and I was talking to my match day team, and they'd been with me now for a good few years, like the same team that I've had, and it reflects on the customer experience. So people get served quicker, and it didn't feel like a toxic derby day that it normally feels like. And it's my record day that I've had. And now, like, my sister, she helps out on the bar as well. She's been our manager, and I was telling her about it, and I said, yeah, this is a record day that I've had. And she's like, really? So what do you mean, really? Which didn't really seem that busy. It went by so quick, and there were no drama, and it wasn't stressful. And it's just really nice as well that when you do speak to your staff, that I'm fully aware that the environment can be very stressful, but there's nothing more rewarding than when you actually staff, like, you just check in and say, are you okay? And they're like, yeah, fine. And you look at them thinking, really, like, it's really busy. And they're like, no, I've got it covered. And it's just nice as well. So I've put Matt and Kaylee just done the personal alcohol licence as well. So that'll give them a bit of a confidence boost. And we're looking into doing some mental health training. We're working with a local charity that are going to provide that for them. So I feel like that's really important because a lot of time you do feel like a therapist behind the bar. So it's just giving them the right tools going forward. So I'll do that as much as I can. We've just done some cellar and bar training with Chemistry coming up called Chemistry.
Nice.
So they came and did some training with us all as well. And it's just trying to give them as much support and tools that I possibly can. Anything that's going to help them behind the bar, that make them feel more confident and just help them improve going forward.
What do you think the difference is? People now realizing that the pub industry can be a full-time job, can be a career rather than a stepping stone. So I know before I joined the BII beforehand, I thought working in a pub was just a part-time before your real job. Do you think there's a perspective change? Do you see that in your own team or?
I feel like it is growing, but it's hard. Like previous staff members that have moved on to bigger and better things, and I accept that and I'm okay with that. I think as long as I can help them grow as an individual and provide, and I'm more than happy to be a platform for various individuals that I think, do you know what? Yeah, I can't pay you any more than I am, and you deserve better, and you will go on to bigger and better things. And I'm fine with that. But the team that I've got now, it is a really positive thing that you can provide careers and jobs for these people. And it's something that I'll always want to grow. And the busier we get, again, the more people that I can take on, the more hours I can give out, and the better pay that we can do for our staff. Because I always want to pay my staff a good wage because I know they deserve it. I know they all work hard as well. And I feel like that's really important. I know that a lot of people grumbled about minimum wage going up, but we pay more than minimum wage because I feel like that's what our staff do. If I could pay them, if it could budget that you could pay them any more, they deserve so much. Yeah. And that's where it comes in that if I can't do that, then I'll always bring in perks. So I took a couple of the boys to the trade show with HB Clark last week. So that's a nice little perk. And Kaylee's going to one next week with Matthew Clark as well. So it's just a good day out and just experiencing the industry from not necessarily a working environment. We do socials a couple of times a year, so we do a Christmas one, and then we always do one after Dyche Fest because it's absolute carnage, such a stressful weekend, and it's just really nice that we can all go and enjoy something as a team. And we do one-to-ones twice a year where I'll take them out for food, and we'll sit down and I'll go through one-to-ones, goals, see what the plans are, 6 months, 12 months, 2 5-year plans, and just checking in, just seeing where they're at. And we'll do management meetings as well, staff meetings once a month. And I just feel as long as you're checking in with your staff and making sure things are all right, and even asking them what do you want to see? So I was chatting with Kaylee last month, and she's put forward an event for next year, and it's not necessarily an event that I'd normally do because the music's a lot more heavy. It's not necessarily the crowd that we have in, but I've got the confidence that it will do well, and it's just nice that I can bounce ideas off my staff. So John and Matt, they're really into the cocktails, so they're all flying out so we're refreshing our cocktail menu, which we've not done for a while, and they really love that kind of edge of the business. So it's just nice that I'll get the feedback from my staff, and I think it's really important that you give them a voice and an opportunity in the business, and that's how you're going to retain your staff. We do charity nights. I'll always ask my staff what charity they like to raise money for. I think that's really important as well.
Yeah, so they kind of have a say in how things go as well. They see their own footprint, if you will, on the business.
Yes, I just feel like it's important because otherwise they're not going to feel like a valued member of the team. And because we are a small team, I think in a big team you wouldn't be able to do this. But I feel like because I do have a small team, it's important that I utilise each individual. Even our cleaner Mary, we try and get her involved as well. So we did a couple of tasting of these VKM products, and she was cleaning. I was like, "Do you want to come over and try this?" And it was just funny, she comes on our socials as well. But I just feel like it's really important to just push that team environment across the whole business.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I don't think you'll find that in an office job.
No.
And it's one of the perks of you have unsociable hours, but the perks and just the environment that you can have in a small pub team.
Yeah. So I sat down with all 4 of my full-time staff members, and I sat down with them and I said, look, the blank rota, let's try and do this rota so it suits everybody. And because John's only been with me 3 months, Matt's only been with me since January, Kaylee's only been here for 18 months, which is not a long time in the industry to say I've been here 11 years. Jordan's been with me a good number of years, but it's been dipping in and out. So it's nice that we could sit down as a 4 and go, do you know what, let me know what commitments you have, and we will try and work it out so everybody's still doing the commitments that they want to do. So John's got a young boy, so it's important that he's got 2 days off together so he can actually have his son overnight for a couple of nights. And it was just nice as a team that we could sit down and find out everybody's work-life balance and factor that into the rota.
Amazing. So thank you for joining us on the podcast today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course.